This is pretty significant in football history. I knew about this, but I never, until I learned more about Native American role in American history and, of course, in football, I never put two and two together. But we're in Boston Common, the oldest park in America, from 1633 or something. And here is a monument to the very first football team. The very first football team, the Oneida Football Club. Well, the Oneida were one of the original 5 tribes of the Iroquois Confederation. And the very first football team, we're going to talk about the Washington Redskins and Native American history in football. The very first football team was named for one of the tribes of the Iroquois Confederation whose great law of peace served as the foundation of the American Constitution. And they also influenced the Declaration of Independence because the Iroquois Confederation was part of the Continental Congress. And the Iroquois Confederation, of which the Oneida were a part, spent a month, it's in the congressional record, spent a month at Independence Hall from May to June 1776. I believe they slept in Independence Hall, meeting with the founding fathers. The Iroquois Confederation, founders of the Great Law of Peace, the original federal government, were part of the Second Continental Congress for all practical intents and purposes. And the day they left was June 11th, 1776. They paid tribute to John Hancock and declared him, I don't have the term right, but kind of the great tree, which was very symbolic in Oneida and Iroquois culture. But here we are, and during the Civil War, the Oneida Football Club, the first organized football club in the United States. On this field, the Oneida Football Club of Boston, the first organized football club in the United States, played against all comers from 1862 to 1865. The Oneida goal was never crossed, and this monument was placed on Boston Common, November 1925, by the 7 surviving members of the team. And by the way, this is like the classic view of Boston where they put it. And here are the members. I'm going to have to look up this guy, Jarrett Smith Miller, the founder and captain. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to read them all, 4, but. There's the Forbes in here, the Peabody. I mean, these were. By the way, they called it. Football began with kind of Harvard and Yale. They originally called it the Boston game because it was pioneered here in Boston. But these were blue bloods. These weren't dirty Irish immigrants. These are Peabodys and Walcotts and Forbes. But they're the ones who, because they knew the importance of Native American culture. And influence on American culture, they named their football club the Oneida Football Club. And just a little bit more history, if we look right down here where that house is, there's a monument there to where the British Redcoats set sail. This is Back Bay over here. We're looking at some Back Bay neighborhood, but that was the bay. There was a bay on the other side of those trees, in front of all those buildings. Those buildings are all built on landfill. That was part of Back Bay, but the British Redcoats, on the night of April 19th, 1775, left, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. They left by sea from here on this where this building is, right there, and crossed the Back Bay to get to the other side to march to Lexington and Concord. So, and the Old North Church, you can't see it here, the trees are in the way, but it would be back here. And anyway, they got the message. The British, the Americans want, Paul Revere and Company to go warn the people of Lexington, but the British left. British Redcoats left from right here, 2 by sea, across Back Bay. Oh, there you go. The very first football team in American history was named for a tribe that was a member of the Iroquois Confederation, whose great law of peace was the foundation of the United States of America. Now you know the whole story.